Okay, folks, we have an election coming up in America on November the 3rd, and I'm going through a list of accomplishments of the Trump administration. This is by the Trump administration, but if you wish to challenge each and every one of them, feel free to do so. But I think if you're going to be voting, you should have a look at both parties' achievements in the last 4 years. Even go to their own websites, whatever they claim, read them, read every word, and you'll have to read between the lines, and you'll have to take everything with a pinch of salt, possibly divide by 10 on a few occasions on things you think might be a little bit far-fetched. But if you boil it all down, a neat little kernel by the end of your summations, you should have a better idea in your own mind who you wish to vote for. Who do you think would do a better job of managing the economy of the United States from 2021 to 2024? It's very important, affects the whole world because it is the biggest economy in the world, and at the moment, as we speak, the Dow Jones is at 27,880. And that is quite phenomenal considering that we are indeed in the middle of a pandemic. And it is remarkable indeed when you consider that the left-wing media is at war with Trump. The DNC is definitely at war with Trump. They are trying to white ant him on an hourly basis, not just a daily basis. But I don't know how Trump manages to keep a smile on his face every day. He seems to enjoy the work, and very few presidents would have persisted, I believe, with all the negativity and the attacks that he and his family have had to endure since inauguration in January 2017. I think he's done a remarkable job. Yes, he's made some mistakes along the way, and yes, he said some silly things along the way, but so too has Biden. So too has nearly every other candidate who took to the stage in the Democratic campaign to find out who their candidate would be in the last 12 months, including Bloomberg. I mean, how silly was he? Wasting $1 billion. How many ventilators could that money have spent instead of him throwing his hat in the ring just to make himself look taller, provided he got a soapbox to stand on? Anyway, it's coming up to 3 minutes and I haven't even started yet, so I'm going to get through this as quickly as possible. This is the achievements of the Donald Trump administration in the last 3.5 years. According to the Trump administration, they've saved the New York Times, they've saved the Washington Post, they've saved cable TV, probably by subsidizing the worker payments in the middle of the pandemic. And they've given them plenty of ink to write with and plenty of subject matter to write with. And the great American comeback is already underway, the Trump administration says. They've added 1.8 million jobs in July, exceeding predictions for the third straight month. A combined total of over 9 million jobs were created since May, surpassing market expectations by a total of 12 million new jobs. Over the last 3 months, and I'm recording this in August 2020, over the last 3 months, they added nearly 4 million leisure and hospitality jobs, 1.47 million retail jobs in the middle of a pandemic, 1.17 million education and healthcare jobs in the middle of a pandemic, 743,000 service jobs, 623,000 manufacturing jobs, and 639,000 construction jobs. Half of all new jobs are full-time jobs, and wages rose 4.8% year over year. In July, the unemployment rate fell to 10.2%, dropping by over 30% since April. That is remarkable. Jobs held by African Americans rose by nearly 1 million over the past 3 months. Jobs held by Hispanic Americans increased 2.3 million over the last 3 months. Job gains since April represent a recovery of 42% of jobs lost in March and April. 80% of small businesses are now open, up from just 52% in April. And retail sales rose 7.5% in June, following a record-setting 18.2% increase in May. Consumer spending has almost fully recovered from its pandemic low, with recovery being the strongest in low-income communities. You'll never hear any of this on the ABC radio in Australia or the ABC TV, or certainly not Channel 10 on The Project. You'll never hear any of this on those radical far left-wing news purveyors or recyclers from CNN and other far left-wing sources that they get their materials from. The latest ISM manufacturing report increased for the third month in a row to 54.2, the highest reading since March 2019. Since the April low, new orders are up 34 points. That's the largest increase on record. ISM's measure of production is up 35 points from its April low, the largest 3-month gain in 70 years. Since the March low, vehicle sales are up a stunning 65% to 14.5 million units. And in Q2, the Dow Jones rose 18%, the S&P 500 rose 20%, the Nasdaq rose 30%, all posting the best gains in over 20 years. The Trump administration also enacted over $3 trillion in economic relief, saving many tens of millions of jobs. And they signed the $2 trillion CARES Act, sending direct cash payments to 80 million workers. That's what the Trump administration has done so far. That's only page 1 of 6, so I'm just going to break it there now, because that's 7 minutes from me, and we'll continue this on part 2. Possibly of part 5 or 6. I'm not too sure how many parts we're going to have to do this in, but I am determined, as the Lord Protector of the Antipodes and Australia's Royal Colonial Boy, with an interest in UK and US politics as well as Australian politics since the 1970s, when I saw Gough Whitlam unseated by the Governor-General in sensational circumstances in 1975. I've been passionately interested in politics since then, and also the Nixon Watergate of 74, and watching the movie of Watergate by Bob Woodward and Bernstein, and that got me into journalism. And I've been a multi-award winning journalist over nearly 40 years now. I'm retired now, but my grandfather was born in San Francisco, so it's another reason I'm interested in all things American and all things Australian and UK as well. So we need to have a triumvirate now more than ever, and we need to end all trade with China. China bad, America good. UK good, China bad. If you got any Huawei equipment in your home, toss it out. Get rid of it, as I have done this week. Optus sent me a new hard drive thing for my data, and when it came and I saw, made in China, Huawei, I rang them up straight away. So I'm not having that in my house. To me, that's kryptonite. I'm not having Chinese espionage in my house, and you should do the same. Stand up for Australia, stand up for America, stand up for the UK, and all Western nations. Uphold democracy, put capitalism first. Communism, socialism is bad, put it last. It will destroy the world. That's what I believe. You figure out what you want to believe in the next vignette of Lord Reags on the Trump administration's achievements.